Kia ora. This is John Winters, Supermarket Sleuth, talking to you once again from Auckland in New Zealand, and I'm talking about supermarkets this week in the UK, but I also talk about New Zealand and Australia, but this week I'm focusing on the UK. It's supermarket shopping like we've never known and may well be coming to your place soon. Just imagine walking into your supermarket, not picking up a basket or collecting a trolley, then making your selections, popping them in a shopping bag, which of course you wouldn't if you had a trolley, so let's assume you would have got a basket, and walking straight out again. No queuing or scanning or weighing what you've bought, and no self-service or operator checkouts to go through. A fairy story? Or something that Captain Kirk of the future and his colleagues will be doing? No, it's happening right now in London. Amazon's opening its new grocery store format in the UK. The site in London's Ealing features the Just Walk Out technology developed for its Go format in the United States, but will operate under the Fresh banner in the UK. The 2,500 square foot store stocks hundreds of new by Amazon owned labels, items like milk, bread and some Our Selection premium lines, all sourced from UK suppliers. The new ranges will soon be available online as well. There are some branded products and items that come from Morrisons and Booths, with whom Amazon has pre-existing ties through its online grocery operation. And the store also sells some of Amazon's technology devices. It's relatively small, so the range focuses on convenience. In other words, it's a convenience store and not a full offer supermarket, with food to go, ready meals and everyday essentials. To enter the store, shoppers have to scan a QR code. Well, we should be used to that by now, what with COVID around, and scan on your smartphone app, and you'll have an app from Amazon which will pick up this, and then you can choose items for your bag and automatically get billed when you leave. You don't even have to have a receipt. They'll email it to you. How convenient. But you may feel you're being watched as you walk the aisles. Yes, Big Brother. And you most certainly are. Hundreds of cameras and sensors detect what's being chosen. When you've done, you walk straight out. But they've hit a little problem. And the little problem is naughty little children. Now, little children, when they go shopping with mum, usually with mum or with dad, they get bored very easily. And the things they want, you can't give them straight away until you've come out of the store. So they pick things up and they put them somewhere else. Oh, this doesn't look nice here, I'll put it on that shelf. And that, of course, creates problems for the system. But Amazon's working on that, and they hope to get that sorted out very soon. Now, other supermarkets like Sainsbury's, M&S and the Co-op have been trying schemes that need shoppers to scan items with their smartphone or other device. Amazon's, as they say, computer vision, deep learning algorithms and sensor fusion, as they say, technology, removes friction altogether, with recent advances meaning its system can now cope with customers selecting variants such as a different bouquet of flowers. The store also allows Amazon online orders to be collected, and customers can return goods by scanning a code without having to repackage or relabel the item. Hand the product over and store staff will do the rest. Amazon has confirmed plans to open more high-tech grocery stores on high streets in London, and it's also going to look at other city centres to see what will work for it. Amazon also operates 7 standard supermarkets in the UK under its Whole Foods Market brand. NBK Retail has said having a physical presence will enable Amazon to address some of its weaknesses, like the mounting cost of deliveries and returns. Clearly, this is the way of the future, and other supermarkets will follow with their own variations on the theme. In the United States, Amazon has shown it's no longer relying on internet business alone. It has 26 Go convenience stores, 2 Go grocery stores, 10 Amazon Fresh supermarkets, and more than 470 Whole Foods Market stores. And it also has some Amazon Fresh stores in Australia, and of course it has an online service there. Shore Capital describes it as a, and I quote, seminal moment in the history of the UK grocery market, end of quote. Well now, you've heard of the Battle of Waterloo? Well, it looks like the supermarkets are lining up to make the whole of London, rather than just Waterloo, a battleground. German discounter Aldi hasn't been doing too well lately in the UK, but it says it's certainly going to invest a lot more in the country's capital. This year it's shelling out, as they would say in London, more than £22 million in new and upgraded stores across the capital and within the M25. It expects to open 9 new stores in the London area before the end of the year, including Dalston, South Harrow and Haringey, and it's extending its Feltham stores. Over the next 2 years, it's pledged to invest £1.3 billion across the UK. It's opening its 48th London store in Little Venice this week, following the opening of an outlet in Walton-on-Thames in January. It's on track, I should say, to achieve its goal of 100 stores inside the M25 by 2025. Last year, Aldi rolled out its click and collect trial to more than 200 stores across the UK, including 8 in London. The discounter is also trialling a rapid delivery service in partnership with Deliveroo. Now we turn to COVID-19, unfortunately, but it's with us and will live with us for some time. And how safe we all feel in supermarkets. How safe do you feel? Well, I'm going to let you know how other people feel. 3 out of 5 shoppers have felt unsafe in supermarkets during the current lockdown, a study into consumer opinion on safety measures has found. Lidl and frozen food specialist Iceland came in at the bottom of 10 major supermarket chains, consumer watchdog Which reported. Only 2/3 of consumers polled said that in-store coronavirus health measures used by the 2 popular brands were either good or excellent. The most favourably ranked chains were Sainsbury's, Marks and Spencer and Waitrose, with around 4 in 5 customers giving their stamp of approval. COVID-19 has forced shops to adapt to the global pandemic, adopting measures such as floor markings for social distancing, one-way systems and checkout screens, which is calling for supermarkets to make sure safety measures stay a priority so people can shop confidently when lockdown measures are gradually eased. Said Which magazine editor Harry Rose, many retailers have adapted and introduced effective safety measures during the pandemic. But he said research showed shoppers felt some supermarkets were doing a better job than others. According to Which, complaints aimed at the worst performing of the major chains included that aisles were too narrow to easily social distance in Lidl, and we have that problem with some supermarkets here too. While an Iceland customer said there was I quote them, distinct lack of sanitising products at the door. We don't have that here. Everywhere you go there are sanitising products, so we're on top of that. Right, excuse me while I sort myself out. Also in the bottom of the 10 supermarkets evaluated were Co-op with a 69% approval rate and Asda at 70%. The highest ranked store for COVID-19 safety measures was Sainsbury's. One customer told Which that in Sainsbury's they feel generally safe. For the study, which had Opinium surveyed 3,037 British adults online between October 22nd and 30 last year about their opinions on the COVID safety measures taken by individual supermarket brands. Opinium was also tasked to survey more than 2,000 UK adults last month about how safe they felt then in supermarkets during the current lockdown. The finding that only 38% of respondents felt safe was lower than the results of a similar study conducted in October last year, when 49% of respondents reported feeling safe shopping. In all 3 investigations, the data was weighted to be nationally representative. Now we move to Morrisons, the new owners of a Cornish trawler, as you would have heard last week. Unitas Wholesale is to offer its members access to the Safeway branded food range made by Morrisons. According to trade publication The Grocer, the buying group has satisfactorily concluded negotiations with the supermarket to source 36 Safeway lines to plug gaps in its existing lifestyle own label offer. The offer is said to include jams, flour, rice, tea, coffee, crisps and snacks, condiments and sauces. The Grocer said the move marks a significant expansion for the Safeway brand, which could now be available across Unitas, Unitas's Lifestyle and Today's symbol groups, as well as Parfet's Go Local stores and J.W. Filshill's Key Store estate. Morrisons launched the Safeway brand in 2018. It's now sold by McColl's and several forecourt operators. Now, in this COVID-19 world, we see how online shopping in the UK is faring. The online grocery sales rose 1% last month to reach a record 17%. Wider data suggests shopping patterns have come full circle, with sales of cupboard necessities falling for the first time since the pandemic began in the UK. The latest sector analysis by Nielsen IQ shows British shoppers spent £1.5 billion on online groceries over the 4 weeks ending 27 February. The number of households shopping for their groceries online has more than doubled in the last year, reaching 41% compared to 18% at the same point in 2020. This adds up to 11.8 million households and is a 132% increase in sales compared to the same period last year. By contrast, sales at bricks and mortar stores declined by 1% year on year in the 4-week period. In total, grocery sales for February grew by 10.6% year on year, the same as for the previous 4-week period. This remains at the highest level since June 2020, when sales growth peaked at 14%. Despite the strong levels, Nielsen's IQ data shows that in the 1-week period ending the 27th of February, consumers are now spending less on essential items that were previously involved in panic buying. So what are they buying less of? This includes sales of rice and grains, down 15%, dry pasta, down 18%, canned or packet soup, down 19%, and of course, you've guessed it, toilet rolls. And what are toilet rolls doing? Well, they're down 12%. These have all declined in sales since the panic buying began early in the crisis. In terms of retailer performance, Lidl, 21.2%, delivered the strongest growth over the longer 12-week period, which Nielsen IQ attributed to the success of the discounter's loyalty app. Iceland, up 17.5%, also followed with strong sales growth, with Morrisons at 11.7%, continuing to outperform the other Big Four rivals. Mike Watkins, Nielsen's IQ UK Head of Retailer and Business Insights, said, and I quote, "Online grocery has now become a permanent fixture for many UK shoppers. It's now past the tipping point and is at the sticking point." He goes on, "Consumers no longer feel like they have to shop online, but they prefer to, particularly now that many retailers have expanded fulfillment capacities. Even when we exit lockdown and start to return to some normality, we anticipate that online demand will continue to grow ahead of the market." I close his quote. Now, moving to the new owners of Asda, we learn how their finances are going. EG Group has reported a 48% jump in annual profits despite lower revenues and announced plans to raise an extra $1.8 billion to fund the next stage of its acquisition spree. The Blackburn-based group, run by brothers Moshin and Zuba Issa, saw its EBITDA increase from £860 million to £1.27 billion in the year to December 31st, 2020. But total revenues for that time were down 7.6% to £20.69 billion. That's down 23% like-for-like. Like-for-like means compared to the same stores last year. The group blamed falling wholesale petrol prices and the impact of reduced footfall and fuel sales during the pandemic-related lockdowns. The group's debt stood at nearly $9 billion, that would be US dollars, at the end of the period following several acquisitions which have propelled its rapid growth in recent years. In the last couple of months, EG Group has agreed to buy a network of 286 petrol stations in southern Germany for €485 million, euros, and Asda's forecourts for £750 million. The group revealed it now plans to raise up to $1.8 billion of new senior secured and junior debt to principally finance the OMV and Asda forecourt acquisitions, subject to regulatory clearance of both deals. Last month, the Issa Brothers and TDR Capital raised the largest ever sterling junk bond in a £2.75 billion debt sale to back their acquisition of Asda. Now we turn to a very happy UK supplier. Nomad Foods had a great year last year thanks to consumers topping up their freezers. Owners of brands like Birdseye, Findus and Aunt Bess's confirms how it benefited. Over the year to December the 31st, the group's reported revenue increased 8.2% to €2.52 billion, with organic growth at 8.7%. This was after an organic rise of 9.5% in the final quarter of the year, driven by 8.6% growth in volume mix and a 0.9% growth in price. Gross margin increased 30 basis points to 30.3% due to mix, pricing and promotional efficiencies offsetting the cost of goods inflation. Now, moving to reduce the number of used plastic bottles going to recycle, yet another manufacturer is introducing aluminium refillable bottles like EcoStore has done in Australia and New Zealand. Procter & Gamble is to roll out refillable shampoo bottles in the UK. The format is made up of a reusable aluminium bottle and refill pouches that P&G claims can be recycled through UK curbside collections. The refill pouches use 60% less plastic per millilitre of product than standard shampoo bottles and are much lighter. P&G is initially introducing the format in the UK to its Head & Shoulders, Aussie, Herbal Essences and Pantene ranges. The aluminium bottles have a recommended retail price of $10, £9.99. That's £10. That's £9.99, but it's £10 really. With the pouches starting at £4. They're already on sale at Boots, with rollouts to Superdrug and Waitrose to follow. Now we turn to another example of two products unexpectedly coming together. You could say they've got together to have a beer over a famous egg's half-century. Cadbury has got into bed with craft brewer Goose Island to create a beer that tastes like the chocolate brand's popular cream egg line. The limited edition beer, named the Golden Goo Beer Lee, strange name, is being launched as a pre-Easter special. Packs of two 440ml cans are being sold to commemorate 50 years of the cream egg. Raphael Capitani, brand manager of Cadbury Cream Egg, said, "We can't wait for people to try our very first beer and raise a glass to 5 delicious decades of Cadbury Cream Egg." Well, that's it for this week, everyone. I will be back next week for more news about supermarkets in the UK, Australia and New Zealand. Bye for now.